Hi everyone, my name is Kami Musavi and I'm a product manager on the Microsoft project team. Welcome to the presentation on people and resource management in Project for the Web. In this presentation, I'll start with an overview of the difference between resource and people management. Then I'll show you some exciting new functionalities that we've added for resource scheduling with Project for the Web. And I'll finish up with a preview of what you can expect in the next few months to help with people management. The first question we need to address is, what type of manager am I? We like to think that there are three distinct types of managers. The first type, and the most common, is the people manager. The people manager manages a stable team of 2 to 15 people, and they are responsible for the team's work commitments and professional growth. People managers can use Project and Planner to fulfill the majority of their needs. Next, we have the project managers, who mainly care about making sure that their projects achieve all goals within given constraints. To do so, project managers need to request resources from the resource manager to execute their projects. Project managers can use Project for the Web to do a big portion of their job, but you can see that their needs is becoming more complex, and this is where we start needing a more advanced solution. Lastly, we have the resource manager. The resource manager works hand in hand with the project managers to make sure that the resources are deployed efficiently and effectively to the project managers across the organization. Now that we're all on the same page, I'd like to show you our new resource scheduling app that you can use with Project for the Web. This app helps project managers request resources for projects and resource managers to manage resource bookings and have a better understanding of the capacity and allocation of their team's resources across multiple projects. The resource scheduling app that I'll show you is built as an assistant to the Universal Resource Scheduling System, which allows for a holistic, customizable resource scheduling of any entity in Project and Dynamics 365 products. I won't go too much in depth into the customizability and extensibility of this app in this session, but know that much of what I will show you in this demo is adaptable to your needs. This tool is available in Project Plan 3, Plan 5, and Dynamics 365 project operations. Now let's go to the demo of the resource scheduling app. To find the resource scheduling app, first go to make.powerapps.com to access your Power Apps. Then you want to make sure that you're in the right environment to find your resources. So click on the top right header and find the environment that is appropriate for you. Here we'll simply use the default environment for the sake of this demo. Once that is made sure, go to the left navigation pane and click on Apps to find the resource scheduling app. This resource scheduling app is installed in any environment that has Project installed. So simply press on the resource scheduling app to launch the application in a new browser tab. Once you launch the resource scheduling app, first you'll want to create a new resource requirement as the project manager. To do that, press the New button at the top, then start filling out the fields for the resource requirement. You'll first want to enter a name. Then you'll want to choose the dates that you actually need this resource. After that, you'll want to select the allocation method for the resource, and here we recommend that you use the full capacity because percentage capacity is not allowed in Project for the Web. After that, you'll want to create a status for this, which will be active. Select a work hour template, which is the calendar for the resource. And finish off by selecting the resource type, which in this case is a user because we want a developer. Before finishing off, you'll want to go to the Project tab to associate this resource requirement to an actual project. These are Project for the Web projects, so if you search it up, it'll show up here. Once you're done here, you'll want to press the Save button and then go back to the General tab. Here you'll notice that new fields have popped up for the specific resource type of user. In this case, you'll want to enter as skills, which will be the skill that the resource is associated with. In this case, you'll press the triple dot button and then open up the new resource characteristic menu. Here, choosing a characteristic is what will define the skill of the resource. So here we'll want to pick the developer. And then you can associate this resource requirement to a rating value, which is the skill of the resource requirement that you'll need. For this demo, we'll keep it simple and just choose a developer and save and close. Once you're done adding a skill, you can simply press the Submit Request button at the top. It'll ask you to enter a note, and here you can enter any information that you want to communicate with your resource manager. And here, simply press OK to finish the resource requirement. After submitting your requirement, you can scroll down and notice a timeline of all the communication that you've had with your resource manager. This is super useful if you want to keep communicating and making sure that the resource requirement is fulfilled appropriately. Then, you'll want to switch hats to the resource manager job. And here, pressing on the schedule board will open the list of all active bookings in your environment. Once you open the schedule board, you'll notice that you can see the list of all resources in your environment, as well as a timeline of all of their active bookings, which is super useful if you want to make sure that there is no over-allocation of resources, as well as to make sure that all resources are being used effectively. At the bottom of this page, you'll be able to see the list of all active open resource requirements that the project managers have submitted. Pressing on a resource row will show you the Find Availability button, which will show you all resources that can pick up this requirement. If you know which resource to associate this to, you can simply drag and drop the row onto the timeline, and then make sure that the details are filled up properly before booking the requirement. Once you've booked the resource, you'll want to close the loop as the resource manager and go back to the Resource Requirements tab to mark the status of the resource requirement as completed. Simply open the resource requirement and change the status here from active to completed. You'll want to finish off by clicking Save and Close and finish the booking of the resource requirement. This concludes the demo of the resource scheduling app in Project for the Web. I hope the demo did a good job of showing you how useful the resource scheduling app is. We're working hard to make the app work best for you, and we've already built a new look in Dynamics as you can see here. You can expect this refresh and many new features to keep coming to the resource scheduling app for Project for the Web. Now let's move on to the upcoming features you can expect in Project for the Web to help with people management. As a reminder, a people manager is someone who manages a static team and cares about seeing what's on everyone's plate to make sure that things are running smoothly. So without further ado, here's the new people management view that we're building in your projects. In this view, people managers are able to see a quick overview of the workload of the people in the project. The first addition that you'll notice is a summary card for people in the project, which will show you a summary of the current status of tasks assigned to your team. The summary statistics can be shown in terms of hours complete, incomplete, and late, or you can simply choose to show the task count if you're not using hours to measure your tasks. We'll keep adding functionality in the future with different summary statistics such as sprint efforts. Next, notice that the columns are grouped vertically in different buckets under each person. These subgroupings will make it easy for you to absorb the wealth of information in this screen. You can choose to subgroup by buckets, progress, due date, as is shown in this view, or by task priority and labels. Lastly, this view aims to make it super simple for you to create new tasks for your team members and see how it affects their workload. You can also easily drag and drop tasks between different members to balance the workload in the team. That's all for the people view, and I hope you're as excited as I am for the new feature coming to Project for the Web. To close this presentation, let's quickly go over the licensing that you'll need to access the different features that we saw today. Anyone with an Office license can view but not edit everything we saw today. But with a Plan 1 license, you can access the People view in Project for the Web. With a Plan 3 license, you can create resource requests and accept booking proposals in the Resource Scheduling app. With a Plan 5 license, you can manage bookings to fulfill the resource requests and manage the skills and proficiencies of your resources. Lastly, with a Project Operations license, you'll be able to unlock advanced features like resource reconciliation. Thank you for watching this presentation.